All right, yeah, the feds did the sweep, and then Patriots pulled up, and they were knocking on the Capitol. That's exactly my life story for my husband, anyway. Okay, so today there was court. Come on up here, Roy. Didn't go to Proud Boys. The Perkins Doolin bench trial, Judge Nichols had his verdict, and Mr. Doolin, Joshua Doolin, was found not guilty on the lesser charge, but found guilty on all of the other charges. Perkins was found guilty of all of his charges. His charge did include a violent assault, is what they called it. You know, and these are people that walk with the armor of God, I will tell you that. And they are very strong patriots. They are very faithful in their church. They are very faithful to their country, and they're very faithful to their family. And, you know, so it was super tough for that verdict to come down. And the government asked for Mr. Perkins, Michael Perkins, to be detained at that moment. And that was real... It took me a second. I did not know. As soon as I knew that he was convicted of it, I knew that is protocol for the government to ask for them to detain. And, you know, I just went into prayer immediately. And you know, for Judge Nichols' heart to be softened. And Judge Nichols' heart said that he would give the defense until March 22nd to give him a reason why he's not obligated to detain Michael Perkins. And, you know, so we all need to be in prayer that he can be out until he has to go to sentencing and then turn himself in. They have a young family at home. Michael and his wife, Perkins, they have 2 young children. And, you know, and Joshua Doolin and his wife are newly married. And, I have such pride in sitting there with Jan Sixers when this is happening to them, because the grace and the courage that I see just fills me. Amen. And, you know, but today was real tough when you're hugging a young woman who's newly married and she just feels devastated. I am really proud to do it, but I will never forget what the government is doing either. And, you know, what they did and what they convicted these men on is, you know, that day, a lot of the laws involved with the 111 civil disorder has to do with you interrupting police officers while they are performing their lawful duties. Well, I think in time and time again, we've seen video after video where police officers were not in the line of performing their lawful duties, and American citizens were reacting to that. And they were all in uniform. How do you know who is on your side? Because at that point, all you have is we the people, and these people are reacting to what is happening around them. And then they're being convicted on it over and over and over again. And now this young family is going to have to look and see what their future holds with this main provider of his entire family. His wife, his children, his father, his grandfather. He is the provider for them. And this is what this government is continually doing. The attack on the American family, the attack on, you know, the working class man, the attack on traditional family values. And when you send a father, a husband to prison for years, what is that going to do to that family? And why are you sending them there? What is the reason? The reason is because you are saying to Americans, the other Americans that have yet to wake up, that if you stand up against a government that you believe is illegitimate, that you will be placed into a cube and your family will be destroyed, and they will make damn sure of it. I'm an example of it. Guy Wesley's an example of it. My daughters are an example of it. My son is an example of it. The Perkins are an example of it. And I can go on and on for 1,000 families.
That's right.
That's right.
And you go into that courthouse and you go into that room and you know you're in the lion's den. Sometimes it takes all the armor of God in front of us, behind us, on the side of us. Because what they're doing is chipping away at it.
That's right.
What they did to me today, and what they did to the Perkins, and what they did to the Doolins, and what they did to our patriot, Mr. Roy, is they chipped away a little bit, or tried, at our armor of God, to put doubt into us, to put hopelessness into us. And I will tell you, Mr. Perkins' wife turned around and looked at me, and she says, "The Lord has this. I have peace."
Amen.
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 Wow.
And so then Mr. Roy here stood in the gap for me today, because I was really overwhelmed with emotion, because it was yet one other family that I knew that their daddy, their husband, their man was going to be torn away from that family. And it is going to happen. It may not happen on the 22nd, but it will happen, because they're making sure of it. So Mr. Roy went to another patriot that is having a bench trial. His name is Mr. Griffith. Tony Griffith. And I'll let Mr. Roy talk about what he saw there today.
Thank you.
Tony is from Oklahoma. I just met him yesterday in the cafeteria at the courthouse, but I got quite a bit of time to talk to him, and he has an elderly friend here with him. He's elderly himself, but supporting him, just staying with him as long as the trial goes on. Tony is a pretty vibrant Christian, and he did go into the Capitol, and apparently, and there was all kind of footage in the trial. It's not over yet. It'll probably end tomorrow. But basically what he did inside the Capitol was pray, right outside the windows, and then he walked around taking selfies, and the video showed him chatting with Capitol police officers, and they were telling them, don't go in here, but, go that way, and just totally peaceful the whole time. He's not charged with any felonies, only misdemeanors, but oh, okay, thank you. But if I understood his friend, and I got to know their lawyer a little bit too, that he's actually, if convicted on all charges, he faces 8 years maximum. And I thought, what in the world? And he opted today, he took the stand to testify. He said he wanted to tell his story, and the cross-examination by the prosecution is tomorrow. And I could just tell that slick lawyer is going to tear him apart, because he's an emotional person. He gets hung up on. He's not really good with words. His words are from the heart, but he's not a slick talker like the lawyer is. So I pray for him that tomorrow God will give him the words to speak as he faces that grueling. It's going to be a grueling cross-examination. I'm trying to think of anything else to share about that, but and that case is prominent. I don't understand all the legal ramifications, but am I going into too much detail?
No,
okay. The defense was trying to have the court admit a certain document that it was a safety plan promulgated on January 5th for the Capitol grounds. This is within the Capitol Police itself, and apparently it says that there is one group authorized to be protesting within the barrier, within the cordon off barrier. So the defense was able to derail that from being introduced, but that question is still open. The judge left it still open. So again, I wish I could explain the legal ramifications more. I can't, but it's something that to be in prayer for. And Mr. Griffith is just another common. He's an electrician. Elder, he lost his job when he got arrested. It's just another case of political persecution, political hostages. So that's and that took the whole day for the rest of the day.
And he was praying.
He was free out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he was so thankful when he came across us in the lunchroom yesterday.
Yeah, he came up and thanked us.
He did. He came up and thanked us. And sometimes I wonder, what is it that I'm even doing every day, and and then things like that happen. I do know a little bit of the Proud Boys trial. I'm not going to go into all the salacious things, because there are quite a few salacious details to the Proud Boys trial. But something that I will bring out about the Proud Boys trial that I've noticed in Oath Keepers trial, I've noticed in every single trial from my husband to everyone I've been able to sit in on, is that the government has this narrative that there is a direct plan, always. That the plan was this. The plan was to stop the certification, the peaceful transference of power. The plan was to take the Capitol. The plan was all this. You know what I have yet to see in one trial, in one bench trial, in one plea hearing?
Any evidence of that?
I have yet to see a plan of anyone directly saying this is what we are going to do. This is our in, this is our out. This is what you do, this is what you do. There's none of that. There's none of that. There's not one trial. Now, if you are the majority of these men and women that have been arrested and are there, I believe that we have a tally of like 78% are military. Are you going to tell me that military personnel, trained military, that they are going to go to a capital of any nation and not have an in, out, exit, and exactly this is what people do?
That's right.
I mean, not ever. Have yet to see it. In a year's worth of trials, not one person had a real plan about how to take the Capitol. What we have is rhetoric.
Right.
What we have is, people echoing what they hear other people saying in the crowd.
Yes.
What you have is an actual operation to herd American people and place them in situations when they're already pissed off about the state of their country, and they played on their emotions and they manipulated them and set them up, and now here they sit as a message to the rest of the country. If you stand up again and you have a plan, a real plan, this is what's going to happen to you. Because they saw what was coming. Real plans were coming. Real plans are being made now. So, they messed with our first. They didn't want our voices to be heard. They're convicting and persecuting and prosecuting American citizens within this D.C. federal courthouse every day. Well, they need to bet there is a plan. And next time, because if the intention was to take over that government that day, it damn sure would have been done.
Amen. That's right.